Correct. There's only going to be 9 questions on the test.
So it's less questions, but there's more complexity to it?
There's fewer questions because some of them are fairly complicated. Alright, so this is... Alright, please stop talking. This is Quiz 6 Study Guide.
You didn't do these already this morning?
I did it this morning, but
Didn't save.
I did all 13 problems. It was too long. So I'm doing the shortened version again, and I'm going to save this one, and I'll put this one on headline. Okay? So number 1, they ask you, what is the description of angle 1? Well, you've got your horizontal, and you've got a line of sight looking down. That makes angle 1 an angle of depression. And there's an airplane right here. And there's what looks to be a radar tower right here. So it's an angle of depression from the airplane to the radar tower. It's an angle of depression from the plane to the radar tower. There is another angle of depression in this picture that goes this direction. And there's a man standing down here on the ground. Well, this angle of depression would be from the radar tower to the man on the ground. So you've got 2 angles of depression. So just describe which one it is. The one from the plane to the radar, or is it the one from the radar to the man on the ground?
The plane to the radar.
Plane to the radar. Okay, that's all there is to it. Problem number 2. Number 2. You've got a 20-degree angle up top, which is an angle of depression. And this is an x right here. And you're asked to find the value of x, round the length to the nearest tenth. So remember that an angle of depression in this situation, this angle and this angle are congruent to each other. You're trying to find x, which is the hypotenuse. In relation to the given angle, you've got opposite, and you're looking for hypotenuse, which is so in SOHCAHTOA. So sine of 20 equals opposite over hypotenuse. Crisscross multiply. Clears the x, and then you can divide both sides by sine 20. These will cancel out, and x equals 400 divided by sine 20. That's 1169.5.
Bless you.
Thank you. So you just did...
I mean, we did this problem. We did this problem all last week. So all you have to do is understand that this angle of depression is congruent to this angle inside the triangle because they're alternate interior angles. This horizontal dashed line and the bottom of this triangle are parallel to each other. Number 3 is the same application. Let's see if you use the same ratio. So you've got this triangle. This angle of depression is 25 degrees. Okay, you're looking for the vertical side of this triangle. So if this angle is 25 degrees, so is this angle. In relation to this 25-degree angle, you're dealing with opposite and adjacent. And tangent equals opposite over adjacent. So tan 25 equals the opposite side over the adjacent side. So you can multiply both sides by 12. These 12s will cancel. And 12 times 25 tan equals 5.59. That would be 5.6 is equal to x. Number 4. Okay, tomorrow, number 4 here, understand you won't have the picture given to you. You're just going to be given the textual description. So understand that that's what your picture needs to look like.
So they draw the triangle.
Yeah, you're going to have to draw the triangle. But you're allowed to use your study guide, so it shouldn't be very difficult. So you would draw a picture like this. To approach the runway, a pilot of a small plane must begin a 7% descent. So here's his 7% or 7-degree descent, starting from a height of 1843. Height of 1843. So this would be the plane. To the nearest tenth of a mile. Careful there. How many miles from the runway is the airplane at the start of his approach? This is what you're looking for. Plane, how far is he from the runway? This would be the runway in that case. So again, if this angle of depression is 7, then this angle is 7 degrees. You're dealing with opposite and hypotenuse, so it's sine again. Sine of 7 equals opposite over the hypotenuse. If you clear the x and divide by sine 7, then your x is going to be equal to 1843 divided by 7 sine. You get 15,122 point, and you've got some place marks in your calculator. But they're asking nearest tenth of a mile. So you have to take this feet and divide it by 5,280. That's how many feet are in a mile. So you got 2.86 to the nearest tenth is 2.9 miles. Same sine, cosine, tangent problem, except for in your last step you got to divide by how many feet are in a mile, which is 5280. Number 5 we crossed out, so we're on number 6, dealing with law of sines. Find the measure of B given. You're going to be given the description of a triangle. Angle A is 56 degrees. Angle B is 42 degrees. Little letter A, which is across from A, is 20. And they're asking you to find the measure of B. So little letter b would be, or lowercase b would be, opposite of angle B. So again, it's a law of sines problem, which states that the sine of an angle, so sine of 56, divided by its opposite side, which is 20, equals the sine of an angle, sine 42, over its opposite side, which is B, what you're trying to find. You can crisscross multiply now. So B times sine 56 equals 20 times sine 42. You can divide both sides by sine 56. And B is going to be equal to, just type that in your calculator, but don't forget to push the equal sign. So 20 times 42 sine equals, divided by 56 sine equals 16.14. 16.14. Skipping number 7, moving on to number 8. Find the measure of C. Okay, so we got another ABC triangle. Find the measure of angle C. The measure of angle C. To the nearest tenth, if side C, so little letter C, this would be 81. Little letter A would be 64, the side opposite of A. The measure of angle A is 51. And you're looking for C. So, law of sines. The sine of angle C over its opposite side, which is 81, equals sine of 51 over its opposite side, which is 64. If you crisscross multiply, 64 times sine of C is equal to 81 times sine 51. You can divide both sides by 64. These will cancel. So the sine of angle C is equal to this value. Now, we did this last week. If the sine of angle C equals this value, then the measure of angle C is equal to sine -1 of that same value. So you can type this into your calculator and push second sine, and it's going to give you that angle measure. So 81 times 51 sine equals, and divided by 64 equals, and then second sine, and 79.6 degrees. 79.6 degrees. Number 9. Find the measure of B. So we're looking for the measure of angle B. Given that little letter C is 63. So if this is 63, that makes this angle C. Little letter A is 61. So that makes the angle opposite it, angle A. And they give you angle A is 73 degrees. So that leaves this angle over here as angle B. So you're going to repeat the process that you just did on number 8. You're going to find angle C first, and then you're going to subtract C and A from 180, and it'll give you angle B. So the sine of C over 63 equals sine 73 over 61. Crisscross multiply. 61 sine of C equals 63 sine 73. Divide by 61. So the sine of angle C will equal this value. So the measure of angle C will be equal to sine -1 of the same value. So you can enter everything in parentheses and then you can hit second sine in your calculator, and it'll give you angle C. 63 times 73 sine equals, divided by 61 equals, it's 0.9876, and then second sine. That's 80.98, so we'll call it 81 degrees. So angle C is equal to 81 degrees. So if you take 180, subtract 81, and then 73, you're left with 26 degrees. Number 10 and 13 deal with law of cosines. So number 10, triangle FGH. Lowercase g is 17. Lowercase h is 24. The measure of angle F is 66. Find the measure of lowercase f, which would be this side. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. All right, so the law of cosines says that f squared is equal to the other two sides squared, so 17 squared plus 24 squared, minus 2 times each of the sides, 17 times 24, times the cosine of this angle, which is 66. So f squared is equal to, that is right in the calculator, 17x squared button plus 24x squared button, be sure you push equals, minus 2 times 17 times 24 times 66 cosine, and then hit equals, and you should get 533.1. In order to find f, you would find the square root of each side. So push the button on your calculator that has the square root symbol on it. So 23.08. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. So f is equal to 23. Number 13, triangle JKL. Let's see, lowercase j is 6, lowercase k is 11, the lowercase l is 6.9. They're asking you to find the measure of angle J. Alright, so you're looking for this angle. We're going to use the law of cosines again. Law of cosines says that the 6 squared is equal to 6.9 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 6.9 times 11 times cosine of j. Now, this one you got to work through a couple of steps, okay? So 36 is equal to, do this portion next. 6.9 x squared plus 11 x squared. That's 168.61. Minus, and then do 2 times 6.9 times 11. Write what it says. 2 times 6.9 times 11, which is 151.8 cosine J. Now, this is super important, so put an asterisk right here. Your next step is to subtract 168.61 from each side. So 36 minus 161.68 equals negative 125.68.
We put 161.
I sure did. Wonder what I subtracted. Let me do that again. 36 minus 160. Oh, I wrote the whole thing wrong. Got my numbers backwards. This is 168.61. So 36 minus 168.61 is 132.61. Equals. Here's what it equals. Negative 151.8 cosine of J. So now to solve for cosine of J, you divide both sides by negative 151.8. This is a negative sign that's attached to that 151. And that's why I highlight it, because it gets missed a lot. So you've still got the 132.61 in your calculator. So push divided by, and then 151.8, and don't forget to hit the negative symbol, equals. You've got 0.87, and it keeps going. And that's equal to cosine of J. So if cosine of J equals this number that's sitting in your calculator, that value that's sitting there, if you push second cosine, it's going to give you the measure of angle J. So don't rewrite it or anything like that. Just right now, with that long number that's in your calculator, push second cosine, and you should get 29 degrees. 29 degrees. Did everybody get that? 29.1222? If the cosine of J equals 0.87, then you take this value right here to cosine negative 1 power, and that gives you the measure of angle J.